An exchange-traded fund ETF for XRP has been submitted by Canary Capital, which is incredibly significant news that has recently come to light. The markets are preparing for an exchange-traded fund ETF that will invest in XRP, and this is incredibly significant news that adds to the ever-growing emotion that already exists. As we can see from Anderson's post, Grayskull established an XRP trust on September 12th. Since trusts typically result in exchange-traded funds ETFs, we should anticipate that Grayskull will shortly submit an application for an XRP ETF investment. However, Bitwise submitted their application for an exchange-traded fund ETF based on XRP on October 2nd, while Canary Capital submitted their application for their own XRP ETF yesterday. Additionally, there are a great number of other happenings and a great number of additional feelings that bolster the argument for an upcoming exchange-traded fund ETF for XRP. As an illustration, the Ripple Swell event, which will take place in less than 1 week from today, will include crypto ATF as one of the topics that will be discussed that day. Moreover, Bloomberg will serve as the media partner of Ripple Swell, and their senior ETF analyst will be present at this event. Additionally, Bitwise CEO Hunter Hawley will be featured, and this event will take place exactly 2 weeks after the company has filed for an XRP exchange-traded fund. In my opinion, that is nothing more than a phenomenal coincidence. On the other hand, if you think back a few months before that, you will hear on several occasions that KJW CEO Brad Garlinghouse made an open comment that he would be pleased to welcome an XRP exchange-traded fund ETF, and that we can absolutely anticipate more ETFs to be released in the future. However, the most important thing to remember is that he said that he would be happy to welcome additional ETFs. Regarding the possibility of an exchange-traded fund ETF for XRP, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink was questioned on Fox News, but he chose to remain silent on the subject. Do you see what I mean when I say that if BlackRock had no intention of launching an exchange-traded fund ETF for XRP, they would simply say no, right? I can see how that might make sense. For example, if someone were to ask Larry Fink if he would be willing to become a member of a mooting memcoin exchange-traded fund ETF, he would undoubtedly respond with a negative answer. It's possible that he was even a little bit insulted by the fact that someone asked such a foolish question, but he chose to remain silent. On the other hand, I consider stillness to be a form of quiet confirmation. This brings us back to the beginning of this year. For Ethereum, I believe that there will be a significant number of filings that are made public. Taking into consideration the recent developments, I even believe that we might see anything for Ripple. Ripple has recently been included in one of Grayscale's publicly traded trusts, as you have observed. Therefore, it would not come as a surprise to me if we saw Ethereum or Ripple spot ETFs existing in the market. In all honesty, I have no idea whether or not we are going to follow through with that. Those are more retail plays, and there are other methods for consumers to get their hands on them, in my opinion. However, considering the current state of the market, we cannot rule out the possibility of anything occurring. I think it's safe to say that his prognosis was absolutely, unquestionably, and absolutely correct. The institutional mood regarding XRP is currently expanding on a daily basis, and in some instances, there are even some individuals that believe in it. One may argue that Bitcoin ET is a game that has already been won, but you cannot assume that the same is true for other coins. In my opinion, the XRP exchange-traded fund would be a one-of-a-kind case. Take a moment to pay close attention to this interview with Bloomberg, because the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) continues to be quite anti-this. They have a certain amount of skepticism. The filing in question is actually made against the backdrop of two different items. After inappropriately selling their tokens for a fraction of the $2 billion that the SEC demanded, Ripple was ordered by a judge to pay $125 million. This is the first reason why this has occurred. And second, it comes against the backdrop of the presidential elections in the United States, which are only a month away. Additionally, it is common knowledge that the Republican Party is perceived to be more welcoming to cryptocurrency. As a result, there are also those who assert that issuers would follow suit in the event that the Republican administration established. Are people interested in this? Are people clamoring for something similar to what they were clamoring for Bitcoin exchange-traded funds ETFs? There is no way that it will ever be the same degree because Bitcoin exchange-traded funds are essentially just a field in their own right. To put things into perspective, even with flows, we have 18 billion in that. Ether is not even experiencing inflows, rather, it is seeing net withdrawals yet. It is impossible to argue that exchange-traded funds ETFs are simple to trade. To put it another way, it is the 8th largest token. Currently, we have a Solana filing. Do you have any idea what the 7th largest token really is? Is it what it is? What is Dogecoin? Without a doubt. It's possible that this will be the next step, but I'm not sure. Will there be a Doge filing for an exchange-traded fund? Not quite yet. Who knows, maybe we have Elon Musk, who is a major supporter of Dogecoin, but I'm going to have to write that up if it materializes. However, this serves no use other than to demonstrate how issuers are testing this ETF wrapper. To put it another way, an exchange-traded fund ETF might be anything including private markets. You can see that they are pushing the limitations of the SEC here, even though that has not yet been approved. However, people are really trying to have it approved. A larger cryptocurrency exchange-traded fund ETF that could own Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Dogecoin, and Ripple would be a good way to diversify cryptocurrency holdings. This would make even more sense. You have the ability to diversify your portfolio. I mean that Bitcoin is the oldest and most developed cryptocurrency at the moment. The escalation of the violence in Iran was largely ignored at the time. Can you please tell me where the hedge that everyone was seeking for is? In light of this, I believe that this is actually in the cent space. At this point, even the oldest coin is not behaving in the manner that its advocates had envisioned it would behave. Isn't that something that could be debated? As a result of the fact that the value of Bitcoin increased when we entered the pandemic and the government began spending uncontrollably like a drunken sailor. If I had to guess, I would say that it is because they are concerned about inflation. Fair enough, I guess. On the other hand, the fact that it does not have a comprehensive storyline is a clear indication of how recent it is. To begin, let's talk about Bitcoin for a moment's time. You brought up the Bitcoin Exchange Traded Funds ETFs flows. All you need to do is provide us with an update after a few months regarding how they are doing and what you are observing. I really like it. There is a net inflow of $18 billion that we are experiencing. Having said that, what Isabel Lee from Bloomberg has mentioned here contains some truth as well as some food for thought. The performance of Ethereum has been poor, Solana has not yet begun to get traction, and Bitcoin has not been very successful. Now, taking into consideration that we are getting close to finishing all of Tom Hines in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin right now, I would disagree with the previous viewpoint, but in the end, what are the reasons that ETS has been so disappointing? There is a lack of clarity on regulatory requirements in the United States. So in the end, after the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC reforms its act, then is when we will begin to see an enormous amount of money flowing into the sector, trillions upon trillions of dollars. According to Isabel Lee, the upcoming election is likely to be a stimulus for the expats. If Trump is elected, it is likely that the SEC will undergo reform, and the adoption of cryptocurrencies would advance at a faster rate. We are all working towards achieving financial freedom, spreading knowledge, and building our knowledge in alpha wherever we can, which is why I have created a free-to-join Discord server. There are currently 380 of us, and we are all working towards this goal. If you want to join, click the link in the description below. This is precisely why I am so bullish even now on cryptocurrency and XRP. I still believe that this will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to become very wealthy. As we circle back around to the Bloomberg interview once more, the next question that would be appropriate to ask is why an exchange-traded fund ETF that invests in XRP would be any different from the other ETFs. Given that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana are all seen to be failing countries, it is difficult to understand why an XRP would be any different. In the event where the legal regulation XRP is the sole asset that is now in existence, you should keep in mind that the court of law has accepted and given XRP, and that nobody else has done so. Here we can observe Metalorum and break down the reasons why XRP is not an investment contract. The institutional use case and the demand from institutions are two additional factors that distinguish XRP from other cryptocurrencies. However, this is not the only thing that sets XRP apart from its competitors. Ripple was recently awarded the Platinum winner by Juniper Research for the best cross-border payments platform, which is a very, very big deal. In addition, they are a part of a project that aims to shape international standards and is managed by the most important Moja Loop Foundation, which was launched 4 years ago. This is something that we can see from Chad Stingup. A number of philanthropic organizations, including the Rockefeller Foundation and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, are among the members of the organization. Other members include central banks, financial services, and technology companies like Google, Coil, and Ripple. The settlement between institutions will transition to new instantaneous payment mechanisms, and international transfer will migrate to new peer-to-peer crypto-based solutions like XRP. This is described here. There is an upcoming financial system that is going to use XRP, and it is going to begin using it.